To that person that you just mentioned that is listening right now, the most important thing I can say is to look directly in the camera and just say, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. Give yourself some grace and some space to be less than perfect. Give yourself some grace and space to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Even if whatever you're feeling is not preferred. I don't think anyone prefers to be angry or frustrated or annoyed or overwhelmed or upset. We have those emotions for a reason, and I encourage folks to lean into them. I also want to make sure that it's crystal clear that everything I share on stage, everything I share on page, and everything I'm sharing with you right now, I'm not coming from a place of mastery. I'm not at the top of the mountain looking down, preaching to people and telling them what they should be doing. Now, what I can say with a huge smile, and again, more gratitude, is that I've made a lot of progress in these different areas. But the reason that I've made progress is because almost every single thing that I share right now, I did the exact opposite of those things in my 20s, 30s, and even in my early 40s. So I've had to learn a lot of these lessons the hard way, the school of hard knocks. Many of the things I preach today, for example, one of the main tenets that I preach, both to my corporate audiences and to my own children, is to refrain from blaming, complaining, and making excuses. I'm a big believer in the concept of extreme ownership, which Jocko Willink wrote a brilliant book on it, but I hold myself responsible and accountable for everything in my life. And I fully recognize that I don't control external circumstances, but I always control my response to them. So I do the best that I can to spend as little time worried about or upset about things outside of my control, and I focus on what is in my control, which is my response. And I work really hard for my response to never be blaming, complaining, or making excuses. But the reason I share that is, if you and I had this conversation 20 years ago, I was the king of blaming, complaining, and making excuses. Anytime something didn't go my way, or I didn't reach a goal, or things didn't meet my preferences, it was always someone else's fault. It was never my fault. And the reason I share that is, I tried a certain operating system, if you will, as I navigated life through my 20s and 30s, and it never left me feeling whole. It never left me feeling fulfilled. I always felt empty. I always felt less than. I never felt worthy. So I finally, after several decades, decided to switch that operating system, give myself a reboot, and start to approach life in a different way. And so these things that I'm sharing now, I'm sharing with the zealous of a recent convert, or someone who's done things the other way for a long time and it never really worked. So now I'm trying it a different way. And I always want to put that into context, because the person that's watching or listening to this right now that's struggling or feeling overwhelmed or feeling like whatever, I promise you I've felt that. At some point in my life, I have felt exactly like you are. So the reason I share these things is to hopefully encourage you to give some thought to trying some different things. And all of this is stuff that I've learned and stuff that I'm not done working on yet.